But it doesn't. You have to watch this show with a different lens, and I'm gonna help you guys go through that process. So I'm gonna rewatch the show, and I'm gonna take notes and note down everything in each episode that is Conrad and Belly coded. Because with this show, you have to look at lighting, wardrobe, color choices, props, drink choices, music, all of it is Conrad and Belly coded. You just have to watch it that way. And yeah, you'll see.
Yeah, but you guys, like, everyone and their dead dog on the internet has been so mad at Conrad for telling Belly to grow up, which, by the way, that's not even that bad of an insult. Oh my gosh. And is really just like a cry for help because of his own internalized, shame and like sense of loss and grief of his childhood because he's been parentified his entire life. Anyways, Conrad tells Belly to grow up because she needs to. And this is why Belly and Conrad don't belong in a relationship together at this point in time. It's the truth. And that's why Conrad couldn't do anything about it. And it's also why Belly made all the wrong moves at every single opportunity she had to maybe like try to understand his point of view or what he was experiencing, or try to sort of like be there for him instead of like jumping to conclusions and like painting this villainous character with villainous intentions on him before he could even speak his mind, right? Or like telling him, don't say anything, and not even allowing him the chance to share his thoughts. It all comes down to this. Conrad saw this from a mile away. She's just immature. She is. And like, I love Belly. Everybody loves Belly. And even Conrad, he's always known they're gonna be endgame. But sometimes you can meet the right person and it is the wrong time in life. And personally, that's how I take it when he tells her to grow up. I think he saw that for the time being, they were not good to be together at that point in time. Because she was acting extremely immature at these moments when he really needed her to be more mature. And like, you see that in season 1, the thing that Conrad needed the most in his life is adult interaction. And so do I think that it was good for two teenagers to break up after a horribly traumatizing death in the family? Yes. Yeah, they shouldn't have been together. But this is the problem, is that Jeremiah also is not understanding Belly's not ready to be in a relationship. And it's not just because she's immature or I think poorly of her. I'm just saying, a girl who's 17 in that vulnerable of a position and an age, who has just experienced the death of like someone who was a second mother to her, and Jeremiah has just lost his own mom. They should not be entering a relationship right now. And Conrad was the only one seeing how delicate that was, hence why he told her to grow up. He knows they can't be together until she does.
I noticed something huge. You have to watch this and pay so close attention, okay? Okay? Watch Conrad's arm. Anyone who says he never loved her until she became pretty, the arm says differently. And the reason that that's so important is because as like a director or a producer, they're setting up the scene. They're going, okay, I need Steven to stand here, Conrad to stay here, Jeremiah to stand here. Here's what you do with your arms. Okay, I've been on a movie set. I know how detailed these things are. Okay, they're going, you put your arm here, put your arm here. Those poses were not just like randomly done. No, those things were thought out. Okay, every single thing is thought out on a movie set. I kid you not. They purposely posed them like that because they were purposely saying, Conrad, you need to like claim Belly as yours. Like, we need to show that it has always, all your life, been Conrad and Belly. So cool.
Sorry, but I just need to take a second because I just realized in me making this comment to Val, I love you. This is so true and so amazing and so overlooked. Conrad never once, well, that's not true. He does at one point, doubt it. But generally speaking, he doesn't doubt that Belly loves him. He doubts him being good enough for her, but actually doubting whether or not she loves him, he doesn't do, whereas she does do with him, and that's where their issues lie. But I just think that's quite amazing. He felt so loved by her that never at any point was he like, does she really love me? Does she really? No, she doesn't. No. If anything, he was just like, you know what? I am so motivated to try to find a loophole in this whole protecting Jeremiah and wanting to put Jeremiah and Conrad first thing that Belly came up with, that he's like, I will go to my brother and say to him, we really want to be together. Please let us be together, without actually asking if they can be together, more or less emotionally manipulating him and then lying to Belly about it, but whatever, that's a side note. But he doesn't go, no, Belly doesn't love me that much. That's never a doubt in his mind, where it is for her. Which just tells you everything about the way that they receive their love from one another and about how good each of their communication was. So Belly, I know this is a little bit simple-minded and there's a little bit more nuance to it, but more or less Belly was able to communicate to Conrad, I love you so much. I'm so in love with you. I want you. And Conrad never doubts it, ever. Doesn't doubt that she loves him. He doubts himself whether or not he's worthy, but he doesn't actually doubt the idea of her loving him. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but more or less I think that's true. Whereas she does. The first hint or sniff of her being not good enough, she says to him, is it me? Did I do something wrong? And then he does go on to say it was all a mistake, which more or less cements this feeling that she had that she was not good enough for him, and more or less why she's like, he's not fighting for me, he doesn't want me, Jeremiah is. But I just think it's interesting to note, he does never doubt it. I mean, he is a little bit self-deprecating, but not in the sense of being like, no, that's not true, or believing it. Because that's the whole thing in season 2. He's just like, he never has to be like, oh, we have to talk about what actually happened with our argument at the funeral and at prom, because in his mind, he's like, we can just pick up where we left off. Like, and that's the whole scene, that's the whole thing with their scene in the party supply store. He thought that she was going to say, we have to address the elephant in the room, aka us being back together. That's what he was thinking, because he doesn't have any doubt, where she does. Anyway, I think that's so interesting and tells you a lot about why we are where we are at. And also, I wish people would take more than a second to have a little ounce of compassion for Belly the way that they have for Conrad. But anyway, I'll digress.
Him sleeping with Lacey was a spontaneous decision.
Oh, I like this topic of conversation over at Jessica's post. Somebody asked, why do we think Jer will cheat in season 3? And then Jessica came back with another question, adding on top of that, if it was something spur of the moment and spontaneous on Jeremiah's part, or was it something that was like brewing? So, why do I think Jer will cheat? I think he will cheat because of Christmas. I think that's part of the reason why. I think he's going to be upset that Belly never told him, because basically she outs herself by not telling Jeremiah. It basically kind of reflects that she still has lingering feelings for Conrad to a degree. I mean, why wouldn't she otherwise? Why would she not tell Jer if it was an innocent, they just caught each other there? Like, there's no reason. So I think that it's going to eat away at him. And think about the time frame there. He's going to find out around December, because that's when it happened, around Christmas time, right? I'm assuming Conrad goes back home and he mentions it to Jeremiah. So, and then spring break is not till like the end of March, beginning of April. That's like